Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second annual Global Poetry Competition. It's such an honor to have each and every one of you here today. Thank you to all of our poets and our artists here as well. Thank you to our amazing judges, Raul and Aysleth, also known as Sashi. Such an honor. And we do have our winner from the first annual competition here today. That's Dr. Radley Ramdan, who is our amazing keynote speaker for today as well. Really looking forward to listening in to everyone. Uh, and now, the second annual Global Poetry Conference is a transformative virtual summit that brings together dynamic poets and artists from around the world. This immersive experience celebrates the power of creativity, storytelling, and artistic expression as tools for healing, empowerment, and connection. Now, through spoken word, poetry, and artistic showcases, attendees will journey through themes of resilience, identity, joy, and personal growth. This event creates a safe and inspiring space where voices are elevated, stories are honored, and creativity becomes a pathway to restoration and purpose. And now, to start off, I am going to share a poem with you all. And the poem is titled From Trauma to Peace, and that's a TIME journey of faith and healing. Time journey of faith and healing. The other side. Choose health or choose death. That sounds dramatic, but trauma forces decisions. Pain will ask you, will you stay here or will you fight your way through? Trauma is inevitable. Challenges will come, but with faith, all things are possible. So I made a decision. I would face it head on. Not tomorrow, not when it felt convenient, but starting today. Because healing requires action, and I refuse to remain shattered. The T in time is trauma. My trauma began at 8 years old. Sexual assault, and then sexually assaulted again as a professional. Then came the heart blocks, and life was never the same. Anxiety tried to move in permanently. Fear tried to introduce itself as my identity, but awareness interrupted the cycle. Faith anchored me. Scripture strengthened me. God held me, and I made a choice. I would not run. I would not numb. I would face it. Because on the other side of trauma is freedom. On the other side of anxiety is clarity. On the other side is peace. The I in time is injury and marathons. Trauma didn't just touch my emotions, it touched my body. But I refused to let pain define me. So I ran 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, 21-day fitness challenges, now training for my first triathlon, 1 mile at a time, one breath at a time, one step at a time. Every finish line whispered, you are stronger than what tried to break you. The M in time is mindset. After trauma, you have two options. Option one, live positively, put God first. Or option two, let trauma become your identity. I chose God first. And that choice changed everything because healing begins in the mind before it manifests in the body. And the E in time is exercise, small steps. Exercise became symbolic, not just for fitness, but for faith, small, consistent, intentional steps forward. Healing is not one giant leap, it is daily obedience, daily discipline, daily decisions. Faith carried me, forgiveness freed me. Healing removed what trauma tried to block. Someone once asked me, what does it feel like on the other side? And I answered with one word, peace. Not perfection, not absence of memory, but peace. The other side is not painless, but the other side is powerful. Protect your peace, guard your healing. Take the step, and I promise you, I'll see you on the other side. I believe in you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I see the snaps and the claps. Thank you all. Now, I want to pass the microphone over to our judge, Raul Marin. Raul, take it away.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this second annual poetry competition. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Radley Ramdan. Dr. Radley completed his undergraduate degree at Barry University in North Miami, Florida, where he received his Bachelor of Science in Biology with a minor in chemistry. Dr. Radley then attended the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, where he completed his Master of Science in Acupuncture and doctorate in naturopathic medicine. Dr. Radley, during his time at the University of Bridgeport, also served in the United States Army as part of the New York Army National Guard for 6 years, through which he grew a special interest in working with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD patients, and as a result, completed his thesis on understanding and treating PTSD using a naturopathic approach. Dr. Radley served a tour with his New York Army National Guard unit in Kuwait and Iraq in support of Operation Inherent Resolve 2016-2017. Dr. Radley has also been co-author to 2 articles published by the Naturopathic Doctor News and Review relating to PTSD and TBI. And now he's the author of his first book, Trauma to PTSD, Root Causes to Healing Branches. And Dr. Radley has his own clinic where he sees clients in both in-person and virtual. Thanks again for this opportunity to be part of this great event. And with so many veterans and yourself, we look forward to listening to your talk today, Dr. Radley.
Thank you. Thank you, Raul, for that very kind introduction. And thank you to Gigi once again for getting me involved into this event. So I'm very grateful for all the opportunities here today. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. So today, my topic is healing in creativity and expression. So before we get started, I want us to take a moment, in this moment, to take 3 deep breaths. You could take your hand and place it over your heart. You could place it wherever you feel comfortable. You could close your eyes, keep your eyes open. But I want us to take 3 really deep breaths in and out. The first one, I want us to take an opportunity to honor the past, embrace the future, and value the present. Next, I want us to take a deep breath, honoring connections. Us being here today as a group, having this event for a second year, shows that there's connections. All of us are connected virtually here, but still there's that humanity to it. So I would like to take that opportunity to honor connections with the next deep breath. And the last breath is to honor gratitude and to give gratitude. So much of us are dealing with so many different things in our own little space, but yet we still have life. And Gigi shared a wonderful poem that talked about her trauma and how she has been able to overcome. So I want us to take that opportunity to give that gratitude for all that we've been able to overcome, all that God has blessed us with, whether it's something big or something small, they all add up for us. So take that 3rd deep breath and really honor gratitude. So as we move on, I want to share a poem with you all as well that I wrote in April of 2018. This was just after I came back from deployment, as mentioned by Raul. And it was one of my coping mechanisms while I was there during deployment. Didn't think I would ever get into it, but with some free times, coloring mandalas seemed to fit. Slowly, one piece was completed at a time. Many days to finish, but not losing a dime. Sometimes a couple minutes I needed to get away. Through the colors of the mandala is how I did it each day. Headphones on and music to set me free. My internal story expressed in the colors of the mandala is what I'd see. Day by day it took to complete. To clear my mind, this was sometimes a feat. Some days inspired to do more, other days colors just came from the core. In each mandala, there was something different I'd find. To it, add colors to help me clear the mind. Patterns identified and colored in. Each day, sometimes colors meant a different spin. Today, I do as much as I can. For what colors comes tomorrow, there is no plan. So each time a pen color is I picked to add, expression on paper made me nothing short of glad. What was not finished today was because it felt enough. Till it became a big picture, it was just left rough. Blending the colors together to fit a bigger picture was the goal. As it came together, it felt like it was coming from the soul. So in my time of relaxation, I added more to color. Thanks to those who sent this book, it was worth every dollar. Mind clearing with the colors of the mandala is what I did at night, just so the next day I can start fresh and write. And finally, I finished the first. To continue a second almost became a thirst. And here on, it became a part of my routine to help time go by, if you know what I mean. Again, in the colors of the mandala is where I find my internal peace. Amazement of how I got into mandalas since never seems to cease. So here's to the colors that set me free. Through the colors of the mandala, I just let it be. So with me sharing that, I'm going to step into the other aspect of my presentation today, the power of expression. Expression, one form of expression is us writing, sharing things that are going on. Within each of us, we all have different emotions that comes up for different reasons. And it is important that we understand the power of expression. We should be expressing our emotions versus suppressing them. For what we let go of today, you no longer carry in your invisible backpack tomorrow. So it is important to understand that our emotions is something very powerful. And the more we try to suppress it, the more difficult it is when it comes out. Oftentimes I use the expression of thinking of a boiling pot with the analogy of a boiling pot. The more we suppress something in that boiling pot, when we have, for example, the heat that is under the pot, that is our constant daily stressors and traumas, and then we have that heavy weight of the cover on top of the pot, which is all these things that we have suppressed over time. That water, as it is heated inside that pot, starts to boil and boil, and it turns from liquid to gas. Once it becomes gas, that pressure inside builds up, and then suddenly that pressure becomes too much inside and needs to be released. So sometimes you see people have those very explosive reactions after something very simple has happened. And this is where that power of expression comes in really important. That if we are able to control our expression of our emotions, then we have that opportunity to prevent those explosive reactions that we see within ourselves sometimes and even others around us. So with expressions, a lot of time people have that nervousness of how do I express my emotions? How do I get things out that are on my mind? There are several ways that you could do this. First of all, it is important to understand that let that emotion be yours. Take control of it. Believe in yourself that that is you, and there is a reason why that emotion is coming up. Understand that emotion doesn't have to be in control of you. You could be in control of your emotion. So like I said, let that emotion be yours. Let it truly be yours. Take full responsibility for the emotion that comes up and understand your emotion. Below every emotion, it's like an iceberg. We only see the tip of the iceberg, what is above the water. What plays a part into that emotion being presented is what stays under the water and stays hidden. And we have to find that aspect of it, dig into ourselves and understand where those emotions are coming from. And then each time when it comes to expressing your emotion, you have to find what works for you in each situation. So in traditional Chinese medicine, we focus on what is called like 5 basic emotions: anger, joy, worry, grief, and fear. Oftentimes, we look at emotions from saying emotions are either positive or negative, but oftentimes we miss an opportunity where you could see both sides of an emotion. So here's an example of how emotion has two sides to it. Anger often is viewed as a negative emotion. However, when we think of what causes us to be angry sometimes, it's things that are frustrating to us. So sometimes things that happen around us, things that go on in the world, we get angry about it. For example, a war is taking place, we find ourselves developing an anger towards it. Now, if you flip that anger and instead of adding and responding negatively with anger, you could convert that anger emotion into motivation. So now, what could I do to possibly change a situation that is getting me angry? So now here's an opportunity where anger presents itself. You understand the under part of that iceberg, and you take an opportunity to express this emotion of anger now in a positive way, utilizing it to find motivation, to create motivation, or to inspire other people to make changes. The next emotion is joy. Joy is often seen as a positive emotion. However, on the flip side of it, when it becomes manic or frenzy, creates like a frenzy, sometimes there is that aspect of overjoy, and now it creates sort of a negative response to it. So it is important again to see both sides of it. When we worry about things, often it gives us an opportunity to see what is going on around us, and it gives us an opportunity to start planning. So planning is what you could take out as a positive aspect of overthinking and worrying. Grief, grief is something not always easy to deal with. Everyone has their own ways to deal with it, but being in that opportunity, being in an environment where grief or you're experiencing grief, it allows you to show that you have compassion. You are connecting to something deeper. So take an opportunity when there's grief to find that compassion. What are you compassionate about? What are you connecting to? What is it that you lost that is still that you can take out of that situation and share it with others? So oftentimes grief is associated with death. And what I tell patients sometimes when we go through experiencing death, especially with close loved ones, how we take that positive emotion out of grief is that take an opportunity, cry if you need to cry, express grief in your way, but understand that the reason that you are grieving for this person is because they left an impression on you. They have created some type of positive impact on you. So take an opportunity to take those positive things that you have experienced and share it with the world on the outside. And that is what would help you even develop more compassion. The next emotion is fear. Fear stops us from doing a lot of things sometimes. Fear makes us not want to share our poems. It not makes us not want to travel. It makes us not want to do so much things. But within fear, there's that aspect of caution. It becomes a protective mechanism. If we live without fear and we are fearless, we put ourselves and others in jeopardy. So taking that positive emotion of or that positive aspect of understanding caution could come out of fear. When you understand your fear, you know where you could apply caution within. So some creativity and expression examples are writing, music, coloring, painting, dancing, speaking, sports, or movement. Within writing itself, you have things like poetry, prose, you can write short stories, you could do journaling. There's lots of different ways of utilizing writing as a creative mechanism. With music, it could be listening to music, it could be playing music, it could be writing music, all of those things. Music often helps us connect with emotions very easily. So sometimes we feel sad. It's okay to use a sad song to help you express that sadness. So if you feel like you want to cry and you're unable to cry, sometimes putting that sad music on allows you to be able to express it. And you get to express it in a more controlled setting. Coloring, like I said, art, coloring and painting are both forms of arts that you could do. With coloring, sometimes, like I mentioned in my poem with the mandalas, sometimes colors symbolizes certain things that are going on with us. Sometimes we don't feel like we want to talk about something that is bothering us. So we choose an expressive way in terms of this. So pick a color that would represent that emotion or that trauma that you've been through and utilize it to express it. You could also use aspects of shading. Sometimes shading dark could represent deeper emotions or things that you feel strong about, and you shade it dark. Then you start shading lighter and you visualize yourself letting go of those things that you hold on to. Same thing with painting. The colors, those styles that you use, the shading, all of those things are ways that you can express. Dancing, sports, and movement. Once we start moving around, energy flows within our body, and that gives us an opportunity to express it. There are various forms of dancing that are very expressive and gives you an opportunity to let go, let yourself be free. And that is part of what creativity and expression in healing is letting that freedom of letting you be in that moment and really truly diving into what is going on, to let yourself loose, to let that emotion loose, but still in a controlled setting. So, some of my final tips and takeaways are emotion is energy in motion. Understand your stuck emotion versus your expressed emotion. Understand for yourself what happens. What are some of your signs and presentations of a stuck emotion? Do I get angry easily? Am I bothered by simple little things? So those are things that you could understand as saying, okay, my heart rate is going up. I'm having difficulties breathing. I'm having abdominal pain. Those are things might be associated with a stuck emotion. Once you start expressing the emotions, then you start realizing certain pains, certain things start changing. Your breathing pattern changes, posture changes, all of those things changes. So understanding how does your emotion present for you when it is stuck versus when it is being expressed, and how do you feel after expressing your emotions. Every emotion has a positive side and a negative side. So just like we discussed before, so it's important to see it, feel it, understand it, and express it in a controlled manner. Creativity and expression can be different in different situations. So what worked today may not work for you tomorrow in your creativity and expression during that healing aspect of it. In my journey of healing, I have utilized writing very often. Sometimes speaking. I am not typically that person that would go to my doctor and spill the beans on every single thing that is bothering me from a trauma perspective. Sometimes I need to write about it. Sometimes I need to find another way before talking becomes an option for me. I could spend my full 50 minutes in my session with a doctor, and minute 49 is when I finally feel like I'm ready to open up. And then you get that statement of like, sorry, Radley, we have 10 more minutes. We have to wrap up. No, we'll pick up where we left off. And sometimes when that happens, you go back into that shell and you close off again where you want to say things verbally. So utilizing creativity and expressions from art forms, stuff like that, it is important to utilize it. Like I said, in my personal experience where writing has been a big part of my thing, I have seen different styles of writing. Sometimes it's writing poetry. I had to utilize one time with the doctor something called written exposure therapy, where it was very structured. Now, very structured writing and poetry is two very different things. Poetry is more of an expressive. There's no necessary structure to it where it has to fit specific criteria. It has to write about specific things. I don't have to write word for word what is going on. I could find lots of different ways to describe things and express it in my own way, but still get it out. Versus in written exposure therapy, it was me being direct and writing, this is what happened on day 1, day 2, day 3 of deployment. These are things that I experienced. And for me, that was one way to help open up that creative side, because sometimes when we get stuck in fight or flight, our creativity side of us gets blocked. And in order to break that, sometimes we need that little shift and understand that even writing in that structured form still has some degree of creativity and expression. It gives you an opportunity to open up. And when that opening happens, you allow yourself to be able to express in a way that you like, as well as give you an opportunity to be able to verbalize things a little bit more. So next, you have to understand you. What do you like? What are your go-to creative and expressive style? Everybody is drawn to certain things, right? There are people who are more scientific based, and there are people who are more structured versus that creativity and free flowing type things. You have to find within those two things what works for you and what do you like. Creativity doesn't mean that you have to take out the structure in it. Expression doesn't mean that you have to take out the structure for it. So people who are very scientific based, structure based, there is still an aspect of creativity within those things that you could do. Building things is a form of creativity, and those are very structured. Doing things like Legos, that is a way of being creative, you know. So understanding yourself, understanding what you like and what are your go-to creative and expressive styles, and utilize that to your advantage whenever you're dealing with something that is bothering you. Next, honor your work by being true to it. All of us here have written, have shared their poems, they've done different things. And I know later on today, a lot more people will be sharing their own work. So sharing it is one way of honoring it. And being true to it means put your heart into it when you're doing it. Allow yourself to really be part of what you write. Connect to it and utilize this as an opportunity to tell your story. And the beauty of poem and poetry is that you could write anything and you could connect or you could reflect your life story in something completely different, something very abstract that anybody could interpret it for whatever it means. And you may not feel that constraint in saying that I don't want the world to know what is going on with me. And that is where honoring your work and being true to it. Allow yourself to truly dive in and feel connected to that work, but express it in a way that you know that you are still in control of it. Honor who you are and honor what you've been through. And Gigi, I want to say that I am very touched by that beautiful poem that you shared. You really dived into it, and you have done what is meant saying honor your work by being true to it. You honored yourself and you honored what you have been through, and you have shown that there's an other side of trauma. There's a side beyond that. There's that side where healing comes in. And remember that healing is part of the journey, not the final destination. We go through roller coasters when we go through healing processes. It's not a one and done. It's not stick a band-aid on and everything heals under it. Sometimes we go back through things. Sometimes we re-experience trauma. And we have to understand that all of that is part of the journey. So take it as the journey. Let every aspect of healing be your journey. Every aspect of healing is important, and not just saying healing is your final destination. So don't look at it that I could only be healed when X, Y, and Z happen. Every little thing that changes within your life is part of your healing. And understanding that, honoring that, paying attention to that is important. And this is where that next point comes in. Gratitude is a must. Give thanks for every aspect of healing within your life. I have been through a lot in my life over the past couple of years, and I've had several health issues that have been very restricted, unable to get out of bed. And I started doing gratitude every single day. And my gratitude to some might sound crazy. One day I'm saying, Lord, thank you that I'm able to wash my dishes today. Lord, thank you that I'm able to get off my bed in 10 minutes versus 30 minutes. So sometimes taking an opportunity within our healing journey to give thanks for the little things that are changing would allow us to see all the bigger things that are changing. Because sometimes we get caught up in just looking at that final destination. We look at what we were before our trauma and says, I need to get back to that. Understand that it may not always get back to where you were before, but somewhere along that line, you will see changes moving into that direction. And trust in God, trust in that process, that whatever happened is there to make you stronger. Sometimes within our own trauma, we realize strengths that we didn't have. Start giving thanks for it. And the more we give gratitude for the little things that happen in our life, I could guarantee you that you will start seeing more and more improvement. You'd start seeing more and more positivity and more changes within your life. And lastly, you don't need optimal health. You deserve to have optimal health. And this is what I tell all my patients, whenever I do talks on health, I tell patients that you don't need optimal health to live a life. Tell yourself that you deserve it and give yourself an opportunity to welcome optimal health into your life. So thank you again to each and everyone for this wonderful opportunity to be part of this event today. Thank you for the opportunity to present last year, and congratulations to everybody who is participating today. Everyone, just by sharing your story, just by sharing poetry. April is the month of poetry awareness, and taking this opportunity to share one honors poetry and the whole history of poetry. Everybody that has been a poet, everybody who's aspiring to be a poet. These are things that we go through today and share today here will help impact those in the future. So congratulations to each and every one of you. And once again, I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity to be here today to present as the keynote speaker. And I do hope that everyone takes an opportunity to really connect with your poem, connect with others' poems, because the more we connect to each other, the more we can learn from each other. You might inspire somebody that you don't realize listening to your poem or your story behind that screen. And know that those impact go a long way than you realize. You might impact just that one person hearing it today, but the domino effect of that impact that you have on that one person today may trickle into hundreds more other people afterwards. So know that there's power in what you're going to be sharing today. Know that there's power in what we're doing here today. Once again, I say thank you very much for this opportunity today.
Thank
Wow.
you, Dr. Radley.
Wow, Dr. Radley, that's amazing that now I know why you won last year. Because you like no, and I'm just saying that because you have so much emotional intelligence. I like to say, and the fact that you were like so clear, like I loved what you had to say. Um, and it was like a perfect presentation, especially for this, type of conference or competition. You mentioned that it's National Poetry Month, but yesterday was actually the National Spoken Word Day,
Mhm.
or like just Voice Day. I think it was Voice Day yesterday. And so I thought like it was so cool that you mentioned that, because I saw that on Facebook that yesterday was National Voice Day. And so it was perfect that today's like, uh we're giving space for people to share their voice on this platforms and all the platforms that it's going to be on later. And so thank you so much for not only educating us, but also inspiring us to keep going in our poetry journey.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Aysleth. And now we will hear from one of our judges, Raul Marin. Take it away.
Well, Dr. Radley, that was incredible. I wish I had more room for the notes that I was taking, but amazing that you highlighted how you observe well, not observe, but understand your stuck emotions versus your expressed emotions. And and that relates a lot to me because my mom always, I think she kind of got upset with me most of the time that I wasn't communicating as much as I should, like I was wearing my emotions on my face. And she's always trying to get me to speak, and I wasn't ready to speak because I was holding on to some emotions. And then all of a sudden, it just pours out of me, either writing on a piece of paper, or eventually it's just like, okay, you're obviously, I know you're my son. You're not being yourself right now. Talk to me. What is going on? And at that point, it's like, okay, the communication is flowing because whatever I had to let out, I already let it out on paper. So now it's like, okay, now I can talk about it. And it's a very interesting dynamic that we have between men and women in a relationship where sometimes you see the women saying to the men, like the men saying to the women, I can't read your mind, versus the women are saying, why can't you talk to me? So that was just a powerful observation that you did there. And any thoughts on why is it that we're just so different in that regard of communication?
That's a tough question to answer. But I do agree. You do see that often where women tend to be more expressive and they tend to have that aspect of it. And I think, to me, I believe part of it is just culture and that patriarchal society that men were always taught that, hey, you need to shut it. You don't need to express emotion. You need to drive on, you need to push through, and you just need to get done what needs to be done. You don't think about it, just get it done. Women, on the other hand, because of that motherly nature that comes with them, caring becomes something easy to them. So it's easy for them to express themselves. It's easy for them to just connect to things. It's easy for them to read people. In that case, like you said, like your mom was seeing it on your face, right? So it's easy for them to be able to do that. And that is what I would say when it comes to that aspect of it. It's just that, I guess, that is in their DNA. That is just part of them. That is part of their hormonal makeup that they just built that way. And like I said, part of it is that cultural stigma that I believe men could do it too, but we have to break out of that culture of like, listen, men only need to do this or only need to do that. We need to connect with that aspect of ourselves. And sometimes things like you said, write down what is bothering you. It gives you an opportunity to break that block. And then now you're able to talk about it afterwards. So there is definitely those aspects of it. And I do see the difference between estrogen and testosterone. Yep. So yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big one. And I think maybe that's where there's a lot of men poets out there. Their greatest strength might not be in the vocal communication of their emotions, but there you have it, where your skill might be lower in one area, it strengthens in another. And you see them writing these songs, these spoken words, these poems, this artistry, all about, where the strength of their communication lies. And yeah, it's just incredible to watch.
I
So
think I think it's interesting that you say that, Raul, because like you're a newlywed, so am I. And so we know like, you know, tensions get high in a relationship. And that's just not even that's in general in any relationship, you know. Tensions get high and you have to know how to communicate to not communicate to react, communicate to listen. And so I think that a lot of people struggle with that. I struggle with it personally. I know that I do. So but I think it just, with time you just kind of learn, a male's brain is not fully developed until 27, a female is 25. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. I know right now we're in that age of, trying to choose genders and, all of that. But at the end of the day, you can't change your chromosome. At the end of the day, you can take all these hormones things, but at the end of the day, you still can't change your hormone. And I mean, like, I'm a big believer of loving people, and not rejecting people. But at the same time, we have to honestly correct some people. And if they hurts their feelings, we can do it in a compassionate way. And so I love that you have that like balance, both of y'all. Cause like it's like even in just in day-to-day living, like you have to have that balance. And when it comes to any relationship, you have to have, that, level-headed type of mentality. So yeah, I'm glad that we definitely covered that because I wasn't going to say anything, but I thought it was because honestly, I always thought that women had so much more emotions and could express it in like so much better because it was like I would just because women have more emotions usually or they can express them so much because we're more I think we're more emotional than men. But there are some men that are more emotional. It's just it's more common in women to like you know I know Raul's un Latino, so you kind of you grow up different when you're a Latino. Like you really do. It's like there's so many emotions at home. And so I think that definitely made me a better poet because we were forced to feel certain things and not I mean, some of them were good, some of them were bad, but I feel like not everyone has that experience, not everyone has that home life where you can be free to feel. Um, and so I think most Latino families, they do give that a little bit of that space to feel at home. I can't speak for I speak for my culture. But yeah, but yeah, that's amazing. So thank you for definitely bringing that up.
I would say it's similar in some Caribbean cultures as well, that you have some degree of that where there's that overlap between Latin cultures and Caribbean cultures because they still intertwine with each other so much. So I do understand what you're saying.
And to add to Aysleth's point, I wish that the gentleman that I heard on this podcast speak on the topic of today's manhood would just be on a podcast with Dr. Radley, because he was speaking about that topic, and to what Aysleth said, he was saying, guys have just as much emotion, and if you think of it as the coloring box, when we were in elementary school, we were crazy happy about getting this huge box of colors with like 64 colors of like wide ranges of reds, greens, and blues. He said, "Well, society has made it so that women, it's society expected that women can feel lime, for example, versus men, we're so busy trying to combine green and yellow to make lime. But you have that emotion in you. The problem is society says, well, you're a man, so you can't be emotional about it." So I'm like, and I had to replay that clip a couple of times because I'm like, if I had been raised with more men in my life, then I might, who knows, maybe I'd be a different guy, because I was raised with 3 sisters and a mom, which probably says a lot why I have such a closer connection to women than men. It's a lot easier for me to
Very
express
good.
my
Yeah.
emotions with most men too.
That's good that you say that though, because my husband, even though he's autistic, and I think that does play a role in his day-to-day living, but not only that, he was raised by a very like masculine father, but he was raised with a bunch of sisters. So like you, he was around so many women. So like I always tell him, I'm like, you're a very masculine, emotional man. And I don't know how that works, but it does. And so, like, it's really like to me, I just told him, I'm like, you're very masculine, but you're very emotional. And I'm like, I've never really seen that combination so up close. And so that's funny that you say that because I definitely thought about my husband when you said that.
Yeah, we're all different shades, I guess. But Dr. Radley, thank you again. That was incredible.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Radley. Now, our next poet is one of our judges, Raul Marin. Raul Marin is a speaker and a poet. Welcome, Raul.
And just as I was about to turn off the mic, here we go again. All right. I don't know about you, but when I feel inspired to write a poem, it's either because I've watched something that impacted me, I've heard something, or I read something. And one of my favorite artists of all time is Bob Marley. And I think he might not have identified himself as a poet, but when I hear his music, I just think of him and poetry, because it's just poetry in motion, the way the music happens and how it syncs with the lyrics. And some people call it a documentary. I think it's an amazing movie. It's called One Love. I think it's on Netflix if you want to check it out. But I saw that and I'm like, okay, I got to write. So this is where that poem comes from. Marley. Rise, messenger. Come to the fire that embraces the soul. You can play the music, but the soul knows the harmony. There's a lot more to your life than the fortune or the shine. So I have to claim what is mine. Success doesn't control the passage of time. It's about your rhythm and rhyme. So produce the art that comes from your words and your storytelling. Let the love that is one flow like the river. because there is so much more to gain when you become a giver. It's time for your heart to speak. And remember this message after a week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raul. And now we will hear a poem from another one of our judges, and that's Aysleth Stutts. And then we'll hear from an artist, Narika Thomas. So again, the next poet here is Aysleth Stutts. Aysleth Stutts is an international bilingual best-selling author who loves serving her Spanish-speaking community. She is a podcast producer, publisher, and local librarian. She speaks at events both virtually and in person. She started nonprofit Learning Idiom, which breaks language and culture barriers by perfecting English and Spanish virtually. Her husband and their team partner with both local and national nonprofits to have successful interns and students around the world. She's the host of the podcast Learning with Faith and the Transcending La Familia, where she interviews world changers. Connect with her by going to 343lifegroup.com. Welcome, Sashi Ice Queen.
Thank you, Gigi, for that good introduction. Sachi is my nickname. I am originally, from California, and I'm Jewish by lineage. I like to say by blood. I'm Jewish by blood. Both of my parents. My dad has a little bit more of a Judaism. He's like a Messianic Jew. But my mom's more Christian. And so a lot of, learning with faith, that's it's been the two bloods that are in me is kind of been it's been an interesting journey, honestly. Just because being Jewish and me being Latina, not very many people even know that they're Jewish, actually. We knew because we would hear stories all the time, and then my sister took the test and everything, and we found out. But my dad knew a lot of the customs, and so that's why we kind of already knew. I'm just that. So I'm actually not going to recite a poem. I'm actually going to recite a prayer, which in the poet world, spoken word is just I consider it like a spoken word type of poetry. And so it was uh, it was inspired by just a full of emotions of this is my second marriage and going through the stages of learning to heal and just keeping that healing and maintaining that healing. So it's called The Journey. So if you hear my dog, that's my dog. Okay. Okay. So it takes a lot for me to say that's enough. I can't do this. I need to be free of this feeling of regret. This feeling that no matter what, I don't ever get rid of that awful feeling he made me feel. The feeling of being trapped, feeling of being alone in my pain, feeling of no one looking and seeing that I'm hurting. When when will I just be free from this? Free to be who I am and meant to be. Jesus, help me heal from my past. Help me heal from my present. Help me heal from that space and time where it all runs together. Let me see and feel that light that is so comforting, so warm, that light that helps me breathe and make it through the day. Take these burdens and renew my strength because I don't have any more to give and can't keep it up no more. I have to let it go for you to carry. Teach me to always rely on you and not myself for others to give me that much needed peace and grace that only you can give. Help my husband with his journey and help him always want to be near you and your presence. Guide him to your will so I can be at ease that he's leading our family on the right path. Help my son open his eyes to the real world and what it has to offer him. Let him also feel that deep peace and comfort I see he needs from time to time. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the struggles. Thank you for the victories. May May your seal on my life be visible to the nations and help lead them to you so that they know that it was you all along. I bow my head and give you the space in me to do what work needs to happen to truly see your glory in my life.
Wow. Thank you.
Amen, Baruch Hashem.
Yes, very good. And
Sachi Eyes, I put something in the chat. This is Miss Reek. I'm talking between my phone and my computer because how things are set in my house, but I'm also Jewish. So
Oh,
Shabbat Shalom to you, sis. Yes, that was beautiful.
amazing. You're also Jewish. Thanks for sharing that, Narika.
Yes.
Awesome.
I always like to meet my fellow Jews.
Yes, I'm part of the tribe. I got my Yud Hey Bah Hey on.
I saw that and I was like, I wonder if she just wears it just to wear it, or so because I know I recognize the Hebrew.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yep. I'm wearing it because I am it. It's part of my identity. Unlike you, I'm not by blood, but I crossed over some years ago, renounced Christianity, not out of judgment, but just out of my new faith walk. And I have been liberated ever since. So Pesach, now here for Shavuot. You know what time it is, girls. I'm excited for the season.
When September comes along, we know how to party.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
For everybody that doesn't know, September is the new year in the Jewish calendar.
Yes. Rosh Hashanah, yes, then Yom
Wow.
Kippur. And then we on to the next one.
That's funny that you say that because it's a Jewish custom for every year to go to the lake. I don't know if you know this, but this is what they taught me. And most of the things that I know, I don't really know if this was like my family teaching me or if it's actually a Jewish custom because my family is Jewish, and so I don't really know sometimes. And I've talked to other people, and they're like, "Yeah, I think I also do that too, or we do that too."
Right.
But in my family, one of the customs when my dad was in my life, because he's still in my life, but my parents divorced. But he would take us to the lake, and he would give us each one of us a rock, and then he would tell us at every once a year he would tell us put all of your emotions, put every anger, like everything that you felt that year, put it in that rock. And then he just told us to throw it in the river.
That's it. That's it. So your dad was actually right. I'm biblical Judaism, so not rabbinic, not messianic, kind of in the middle. We're all about being obedient to what the Torah says, the scriptures. I call those the character books. Some of the lifestyle walk, but we do the exact same thing as the community here. I'm in Tampa, Florida. My rabbi is Rabbi Ralph Messer. And so we go to the river as well at our home base in Claremont, Florida, and we put the rocks which I learned last year. It's always a level and layers to this thing, right? Like life, different posts are talking about different life emotions, and just how to kind of navigate different things. Mr. Raul was bringing in the Bob Marley, right, about how his emotion and feelings as who he was in that era of time. The Dr. Radley talking about how to break down the emotions. I believe the Torah is the same way. The Bible is the same way. Faith of any kind of nature is the same way. It's all about character building. So I will put things on my rocks that I want to get rid of. You hear me? And the things I want to come towards me. So I would throw forward what I want to come towards me. I would throw backwards what I want to get rid of. So it's kind of symbolic of moving forward with the new year and letting go of the past, what happened last year. So definitely echo you on that for sure.
Well, now I know. Another person from it wasn't really like there's certain things that he would do. And then I've also have a friend that's Jewish and he taught me a lot of things too. And sometimes my mind just doesn't remember honestly which one taught me which. And
Right,
so
right.
that rock one, it might have not even been my dad. It might have been my Jewish friends.
I got you. Well, Shabbat Shalom to you, and I'm enjoying this time. Dr. Gigi, there's some great gifts in this room. This is amazing. I think you're mute, Dr. Gigi.
Yes, there's a reason why we're all in this room together. Divine intervention, nothing happens by accident. So I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you. And yes, and now we will hear from you, Dr. Thomas, a beautiful
Oh,
soul. She's also known as a sister to me. Oh my goodness, a beautiful soul. We actually met in law school in the Tampa area, and from there we built a sisterhood. So truly grateful for you, Dr. Thomas. Now, Dr. Thomas, that's Narika Thomas, is a native of the Show Me State, Kansas City, Missouri, and moved to Tampa, Florida in August of 2016, where she attended Cooley Law School. She graduated from Cooley Law School, receiving her Juris Doctor in January of 2020 as a valedictorian speaker of the David Davis class. After law school, Dr. Thomas took her efforts and passion of advocating for others to the Hillsborough County Public School District, that's HCPS, for 4 years, where she piloted and managed the adult education program at Sumner High School and East Bay High School, helping hundreds of students receive their diplomas. Dr. Thomas currently is Associate Director of ESS, Student Services, and CPD, Career Professional Development, at her alma mater, Cooley Law School, helping the next generation of lawyers and attorneys learn how to advocate for others with integrity, decency, and order. And on her spare time, she creates music as an independent artist named Miss Reek, a carefree singer with a lyricist, musician, songwriter, and composer. Expressing herself through music has been a childhood gift and now an adult joy. Amen. She has released 5 singles on all major music platforms, including social media, IG, that's Reek_MIS, and is working on her first EP album set to release this summer. When she's not creating music, she's helping the next generation be their best selves through her tutoring and mentoring business. Her intergenerational interpreter, that's YII, covering grades K through 12 in areas of academics and life skills, bringing innovation and creativity to learning. And the YII has recently expanded by joining the Step Up for Students Florida State program as a provider for the scholarship program. And for more information, please contact her at nlthomas@yii.services. Thank you and welcome, Dr. Thomas.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Today I'm putting my Dr. Thomas hat down. I'm going to echo my lovely friend and sister, Dr. Gigi. Back then we were at Queer Law School together. We just called her Gigi. So it's so good to see her and to see what she is doing with this platform and her team. Today I come with the hat of Miss Reek. As you can see, I wear many hats. But my goal and assignment in life is the encourager. And look at my social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the things, TikTok. I only go on TikTok because of my music, but my goal and purpose is to go into this full time. My Out the Box EP album is set to release July 17th. I have traveled around the country from Brooklyn all the way to Kansas City back home, Tampa, Florida, St. Pete, different areas, recording this album with different producers and engineers in the music industry. I've been plugged in with some great titans in the industry. I'm learning a lot. I tell folks my journey was pretty much kind of an arrow in the sense of it was music as a child. I played 5 instruments. I know how to sing as well as write, compose, different things of that nature, and the whole 9 yards. So I had that gift at a young age, but that was not the call at the time. The call was to be an attorney, to be a lawyer. So I went from music to, of course, the law, then went into education, then higher education, and then now I'm back into music. So it's so good to be back and doing all of that. And I'm excited to share one of my lovely songs with you, which is called Find Joy. I wrote Find Joy some time ago. It is on all major platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, iTunes, anything you listen to, I'm on there, verified, certified. Put a lot of hard work into this gift because I do believe that my call is to encourage others to be their best selves, no matter what that age may be. I'm an extrovert. I'm not shy, as you can tell. I love people. I love helping people. I just love just learning and just, being my best for the whole. And that's me and my lovely tribe sister we're talking about with character and things and her journey with her faith. I do believe that I'm just a piece of the big puzzle. So I just take every day with stride like everybody else. And so when I wrote Find Joy, I was going through a season of transition, as I just said to you. I mean, from law to the music and education, that's a lot of different hats you're wearing. But by the grace of Adonai, having these gifts, it comes natural for me. And so I don't take that lightly. I put my full energy, no break into it. And I just go from there. So find joy is just that. I'm encouraging others to seek it and to find it. So I'll go ahead and get started. Dr. Gigi with the song. I'm doing kind of a spoken word. I usually actually perform this and singing it, but I'm doing a spoken word vibe. Let me give me some water here. Let me get the vocals going. Let's give it a go. Sometimes you have to choose it. We're talking about joy here, folks. Now vibe with it. I had to dig deep in my soul. Find it. Breathing deep, let it go. Try it. Check it. It's a choice in this season called life for a reason. I bend, but I never break. Every shot I take, I make no misses. It does not mean I have not lost. It does not mean I have not stumbled, I have not failed. But what it means is that I persevered at all costs. Dig deep in my soul. Find it. Breathing deep, I had let it go. Try it. Joy is what we're talking about here. I stumbled and I crawled, but thank God I didn't fall. Can you imagine, y'all? For goodness sake, the choices I make, the stakes be great. Listen, I laugh in the rain. I smile through the pain. I'm sliding through lanes because I got stuff to do today. Hold up. I don't think y'all caught that though. Let's run that all the way back, shall we? I stumbled and I crawled, but thank God I didn't fall. Can you imagine, y'all? For goodness sake, the choices I make, the stakes be great. I laugh in the rain. I smile through the pain. I'm sliding through lanes. I dig deep in my soul, and I found it. I breathed in deep, and I let it go because I tried it. I encourage you all today, in your own right, in your own way, to choose joy, because joy is not given by man, it's given by God himself. And because God has given it, that means that no man can take it. And what a joyful gratitude heart and spirit should have in that. You're going to go through tides of life. That's just how things go. We have a lot of unrest going on in the Middle East, within our country and others as well. My heart goes out to each and every one of those because people are involved. Children, moms, dads, grandparents are involved. But in the midst of unrest, uncertainty, and sometimes confusion, we have to stand firm in our own business, what we have been called to do in our own right, and seek and find that joy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Miss Reek. And now I'll pass over the microphone to Sashi Ice Queen.
Yes, so we're going to take a little short moment just to thank our sponsors. World Women's Conference and Awards. Is an amazing organization where both me and Gigi get to partner together and create events like this. Ragna Sinikis, she is an amazing individual, and I'm so glad that she created it because it's really cool what we get to do with her help as well. And I'm sure Gigi could speak a little bit more about the World Women Conference and Awards, but I'm, like Gigi said earlier, I'm the executive director of the nonprofit Learning Idiom, which is also one of our sponsors. Learning Idiom started in 2021, and it's a virtual vocational academy. We basically just teach English and Spanish virtually, but we have 2 in-person locations here in Arkansas, one in Conway and one in Russellville. And the way that we do that is we partner with other nonprofits, and the people who are in charge of those programs, they were basically my interns. And so that's how our mission is set in person. But Learning Idiom just by itself is a virtual vocational academy. So everything we do is virtual. All of our, we like to say that we like to reach people where they're at. I think whenever it's like an in-person type of school, they have to physically be there. They have to like, so we wanted to make it easier. And so because there's the language barriers is something that I personally struggled with because I'm first generation. Um, and my parents, they didn't know English. And so the majority of the people that we actually get to help are adults. And then also we have the after school program for kids where they learn Spanish. Um, so, but at the end of the day, we do a lot of in-person fundraisers. Like I was mentioning a little earlier, we're going to have a gala at the end of the year, and we're definitely going to partner with Life Services of America, which Gigi, that's her organization as well. And so I'm very, very excited that we get to partner with her on this gala. My husband, he's the community director of here in Arkansas, and I'm the executive director. And so he does a lot of car shows. He's also, his album just dropped on 23 different platforms. And so he's a musician, and he writes he's like a songwriter and a musician. So between him and his friends, and now he's kind of, you know, he's doing a lot of music. He really is. He's composing a lot of music. And so I'm very, very proud of him. And yeah, he also is one of the people that will probably I can definitely play his song because I know that he was on the flyer. And so but yeah, I'll go ahead and play that because those are and then I forgot. I didn't want to forget. Raul, wise oh, there she is. Wise Wolf Limited Liability Company is another one of our sponsors. And so basically the three judges, we all sponsored this. We all, basically just created this amazing opportunity for people to not only express their poems virtually, but also potentially become published poets. And so we'll definitely talk more about that at another time. We do have another one of our poets that just came in. And so Lorinda is the director for Oklahoma for Learning Idiom. We're just getting started. We don't have an in-person location just yet, but we're still in process of doing that. It's a brand new thing, but I'm very, very excited to have her on. She is a single mom, and let me go ahead and introduce her because she's in here. Um, One moment. So, Lorinda Exo is a single mother, survivor, and poet whose writing is born from the intersection of love, loss, and relentless resilience. Raised by life's hardest lessons, she writes from the places most people are afraid to speak aloud. Her poetry doesn't ask for permission to be felt. She lives in Oklahoma with her two sons, pouring every scar, every sleepless night, and every stubborn sunrise into words that refuse to stay quiet. And she's also an autism mom, just like me. So, uh, welcome, Lorinda.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Swatchy. All right. Hi, I'm Lorinda XO, obviously, but I usually just go by Lorinda. So I wrote this poem because I lived it. I'm a single mom of two boys, one with special needs, raising them alone in a world that wasn't built for women like me. I've experienced abuse, financial hardships, nights I couldn't sleep, and days I could barely eat and still had to wake up and be everything for two tiny humans who needed me to hold it together. I've been told I'm too much, too broken, too loud, too soft, and still somehow not enough. This poem isn't fiction. Every scar I earned. The fire, the fists, the promises that shattered. The feeling of being replaced before anyone even learned my name. But I wrote it because survival isn't just pain. It's the stubborn, trembling decision to rise anyway. Not because the world got easier, not because someone finally chose me, but because two little hands are counting on the pieces of me I keep putting back together every single day. I wrote this for every woman who has given everything and received scraps, who begged to matter, who wakes up exhausted but still wakes up. I am that woman. And I'm not done rising. This poem is my truth, and today I'm finally letting someone else hear it. So my poem is called Patching Cracks with Fire. I have walked through fire with bare feet, felt the sting of hands meant to protect, turned weapons instead on my own heart, my body, my mind, my very soul. I have counted coins while counting scars, battled nights filled with screams, and fought for tiny hands that clung to me for safety I could barely give. I have been told I'm too much, too fragile, too soft, too loud, too broken, and yet expected to hold the weight of the world that offered nothing in return. I have been hit by words sharp as knives, by fists that bruised my skin, and hearts that bruised my spirit, by promises broken as easily as glass underfoot. I have given everything, my love, my strength, my hope, my sanity, and still I wake alone, a ghost of someone they never truly saw. I have been replaced before my name could be remembered, like a season that fades too quickly, like a melody nobody cares to learn. I have begged for nothing but to matter, to be the first thought, the chosen one, and been handed scraps, a smile that meant nothing, a maybe when I needed forever. Yet I rise with trembling hands and tired bones, with too little lives clinging to the pieces of me that I keep putting together, patching cracks with love, with hope, with the stubborn fire that refuses to die. I am here. I am scarred. I am worn. I am unseen sometimes, overlooked too often, but I am not broken beyond repair. I am waiting for the day when being chosen isn't a wish, but the simple truth of who I am. Until then, I rise, and I survive, and I love, even when the world has tried to take everything away. I'm done.
Thank you, Lorinda. Now, I do see a Rosalind Thomas in the room. Is that Mystique?
No. Wow, Lorinda. I know a little bit of your story. So like whenever you sent me that, I know that I know why you wrote that. And so it's like she's also going to be in the upcoming domestic violence conference.
Yeah.
And so if you felt a lot of that, that's why. And so I wanted to also just not only thank you for sharing that, but also thank you for sharing your heart for someone that needs to hear it. And so not very many people have that ability. And so my husband's over here. What are you?
Hello, friend.
John?
Yes, we don't know. I am the one and the only monarch that is speaking to you. Um, that woman that just woke up is like it's like a sister to me, and we actually connected a lot, and it had a lot to do with some of the same traumas that we shared. For some of you, though, those that were there, I actually spoke out a little bit about my domestic violence within my previous marriage. Um, those were some of those words actually hit me in a bit very emotional way. And and that's kind of the idea of what we do here is the fact that you can touch someone without realizing you touched them, being an inspiration, being someone that can be looked upon for guidance. So I mean, we really do appreciate, hearing that. And I love seeing what you and my wife have arranged and trying to bring some joy and happiness in this world, because there's a lot of, dare I say it, hatefulness. Um, it's good to see that there's a light being shined down because of all this. So I do love and appreciate what you and my wife are accomplishing. I appreciate Lorinda for being strong enough to come up and speak out, because it is a very hard thing to speak about. It is not easy to talk about what has hurt you in life, what has held you back, so to speak, because of all the pain and the pressure it puts on your life and the people around you. We definitely do look forward to all the rest of the people coming in and speaking. I personally cannot wait to hear everyone's stories and poems, because everyone's poem, in one way or another, tells a different story. It tells us a piece of who you are and who you became, where you started and where you are now. And I cannot wait, especially for the big gala that we're going to be hosting at the end of the year, where we get to see everyone's amazing faces, especially Miss Gigi. We have been knowing Gigi for a long time. I look forward to my Instagram message every morning. Hello, friend, and good morning. It's definitely going to be it's something that y'all do not want to miss. This will be the first time, the first annual that we'll be doing together.
Well, it's the first in-person gala,
Well,
and
people
so
from around the world will
oh
be
yeah,
here.
yeah. So I'm
Like, I mean,
excited.
this is revolutionarily changing. Like, this is amazing, man. Like, and we're not talking like, just 10 people. We're talking lots of people.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait. Like, I mean, I got fired up for this. Like, I get fired up for Jesus. I mean, if you believe in Jesus and love him, I want to hear an amen from somebody, because that is something that gets me.
Mm-hmm.
There's the reverend in him, Let me hear him an amen.
That's that Southern Baptist in me. I'll bring this stuff down. Like, it's so weird, because I grew up in a Southern Baptist and Lutheran background. So it was either one or the other. I was the first one in my family to break that cycle chain, and I became a non-denominational reverend. And so it was definitely interesting to like get that viewpoint from other Christians and gospel artists. So I mean, I am so proud though, Lorinda. I love you. I love what you had to say. And I can't wait to see my baby soon. That's what I'm excited about.
I'm excited to meet her sons too, because my son's autistic. She has a son that's autistic. And so, Kevin doesn't have very many friends that are also autistic. And so, I think I can only think of one. And so, but yeah, it's truly is a joy to get to do these things and get, be able to inspire people. Um,
Give me just a second, folks. I will bless you with my presence today.
No, with his beard, honestly. He has a very long beard. And so he's actually getting ready to go to work. So he's a mechanic. So I guess I can introduce him, because who knows him better than me? Probably the only person that knows him better than me is his mama. So Reverend John Stutts, aka the Monarch of Fire. He is a podcaster, a mechanic, and he also runs his own taxi cab business. And so he's an autistic male as well. And so he, like he said earlier, he has been part of the domestic violence conferences. He was also part of the there was one other, the faith one, the faith conference. And so both of us are ordained ministers. And so he just recently released his song. And so I'm gonna go ahead and play his song while he's okay. So this is his song that he's hearing.
Sorry. Hi, friend.
Hi, John.
No,
Talk a little bit about this endless song, because that's the one that I'm gonna play.
I love how I get thrown on the spot with that one. I was not expecting questions about that. My wife still surprises me to this day. Um, no, honestly, I wrote the song and I did a bit of a different take with it. Not in a I'm changing up like my style, more like the beat of it. So like for me, I really love EDM music. I believe there's a lot more passion and feeling behind the rhythm and the beat of that kind of music. Just like there's a heavy high beat whenever you're preaching the gospel. You're in love with Jesus. You don't just like Jesus, you love Jesus. And so like that beat is just so persistent and it's bouncing and hitting hard, just like how his love hits hard for me and what he's done for me. And so I sat back and I really thought about this song and I just started writing. And it took off. And whenever I got done with it, I was like, wow, I really did good with it because like it's my voice behind the song, but it's also my words describing exactly who he is for me. And I named it Endless Light because only Jesus can bring that light in your life. And it is endless. It's boundless. It's something that can't be contained. And so I went with it and I really hope y'all like it. I do love your face, Gigi. You're my
Yes,
favorite. I cannot wait to see you again, dear friend. I really can't. Now you can come out here and experience what I talked about in your conference about what a humid heat feels like.
yes.
Oh, I don't play in Florida. Yeah, it's hot down in Florida, but it's a really wet heat out here. You'll be wet probably for a week. Arkansas heat is not no joke. I really hope y'all like the song. I do have to take off though. Being a mechanic never stops. So I do appreciate all of y'all. Lorinda, I love your face. Everybody, have an amazing, blessed time, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, John.
All right. And I know this is going to be on YouTube and other platforms. So
26 platforms, by the way.
oh, I thought it was 23. It's 26. So this song is already on 26 platforms, but because you just saw the artist and the creator of it, we won't get flagged for copyright. So he says he approves of this message.
Aysleth, do you have a video you can share from the YouTube directly?
No, he hasn't. We're still working on the video aspect of our music still, but I can go ahead and play it.
Okay, go ahead. We can't hear anything.
Oh, can you hear something now?
No.
Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can share my screen because it's on Spotify.
Okay, go right ahead.
Let me see. One moment. I thought it would have picked it up because it's just on like my phone, but it's not. Um, Let me get on Spotify really quick. I don't know about y'all, but I like Spotify just because that's where most of the podcasts that we do is on Spotify. Um, so thank you, Spotify, for giving us this ability to be able to do this. Because honestly, it's been a very enjoyable experience to be able to do things on Spotify. So yeah, it's just under the Monarch of Fire. Wait, find him. All right. I found him.
If there's any technical issues, Aysleth, what we can always do is just share it in the description where folks can circle back to it at a later time.
That's fine. Yeah, I think that would probably be best because it's asking me to log in and all that. So, but yeah, he is available on Spotify and, like you said, 26 platforms. Um, Apple Music. It's his artist name is the Monarch of Fire. So the story behind that is Sachi Ice Queen. I love you too. I'm Sachi Ice Cream and he's the Monarch of Fire, Fire and Ice. And so we we were podcasters together. And so then he just turned his podcasting name to his artist name. But in the comedy world, he's known as the modern day Noah. So his handle is always the modern day Noah. But his name is always the Monarch. The Monarch or his John, his legal name. But yeah, well, you guys can definitely look him up. He, like I said, he is the community director of here of Arkansas. So
Very good. Thank you. And that wraps us up for today. As far as the second annual Global WWCA Poetry Competition, we heard from amazing poets and artists from all over the world. Absolutely phenomenal. And we also had our winner of our first annual Global WWCA Poetry Competition, as Dr. Radley here with us today, gave the keynote. Amazing talk. This was absolutely phenomenal. Now, I'd like to close us out with a prayer. Uh, and again, thank you to our amazing judges, Raul and Sashi Ice Queen. That's Aysleth Stutts. So here we are. Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts as we close the second annual Global WWCA Poetry Competition 2026. Thank you for allowing us to gather in unity, creativity, and purpose. Thank you for every poet, artist, speaker, organizer, and participant who shared their gifts so beautifully today. Lord, thank you for the power of words that heal, inspire, uplift, and bring people together across nations and communities. Thank you for every voice represented here and for the courage it takes to share stories, truth, and expression. We ask that you bless each person who attended this conference. May the seeds planted here today continue to grow into peace, healing, wisdom, and greater creativity. Strengthen every poet and artist to keep using their gifts to shine light in this world. Cover each person with your protection as they depart from this gathering. Grant them safe travels, renewed strength, joy, and divine favor. Let the connections made here continue to flourish with love and encouragement. Lord, we pray that this conference will leave a lasting impact and that future gatherings will be even greater, reaching more hearts and lives. We give you all the honor, glory, and praise. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Thank you all. God bless you and be safe.